Good evening, YouTube. It's your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of WME Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, it seemed like it's been a good week for WMA. Some action going on. As you know, I posted a video where we have the upcoming in the next couple of months. We have some couple big fights. We have one card on UFC 285, four women fights, and three of them on the main card. That is, Irene Daniel versus Amanda Nunes for the 135 title. You have, Valentina Shevchenko, video that's talked about today, versus, Alexa Grasso for 125. And also you have Amanda Hebus versus Vivian Araújo on that same card. Plus, in the prelims, you have Jessica Panay versus Tabitha Ritchie. And truthfully, you rarely ever see that many women on the main event. And, that is almost next to rare. But, what's it's my brother, Marcus Bell. Salute to all the way George Page coming through. Smack I like. Thank you, brother. And also, he's mentioned BJ go have a fit once Tatiana smashes. Yeah, BJ he's gonna be indifferent because I know he loves Montana, but he also loves Tatiana, so he's gonna have a cow. He's gonna have baby kittens, but all of that. But anyway, the subject is about the issue of weight cutting, which is very, I think, considered kind of unhealthy in the MMA world, especially for women. As you know, I am advocate for women in mixed martial arts, and also I advocate for women bodybuilding. And sometimes these two worlds kind of, cross paths in a way. Now, it was about a couple of weeks. Sarge Eubanks was supposed to fight, what's it? Priscilla Cachoeira. And Sarge had to drop out. It was, I think it was, but see, with Sarge, she's been having issues with her weight for a long time. Back when they started the flyweight division in Tough, was it about, I think, season 20 or 22? I forget which season it was. It's been a long time. Where she won in the semis, and we should go face off with Nico Montano in the finals. But then something happened. She had to go to the hospital. And even when she was competing on Tough, she had to try to make weight. Now, she said in her bio reads that she's a natural 135. That's a walking around weight. But then she had issues at 125. I mean, it's just, this is like, they had to even cut Sarge's hair. Cutting your hair is not going to do much. It's just cutting hair. You're not going to lose much weight. Hair just only have so many ounces to it, where it counts as enough to consider any kind of effect to weight. But it's crazy, the issue of weight cutting. And I think this is where I say like this. I know some people say it shouldn't be different rules for men and for women, but there should be, because men and women are biologically different. Even though we both have lungs, we have organs, we blood and like that, but there are some aspects as well are pretty much different. Men have penises, women have vaginas. Women have a higher BMI than the average man. I mean, it goes back to ancient times when we were hunter and gatherers as humans. Before, men go out to hunt, and we needed to be stronger, leaner, faster, because we were the prey we were chasing after. And so, hunting big prey too. Remember, they were hunting like things as far as buffalo, barefooted. Animals a lot bigger than them. Women were back in the villages, nurturing and taking care of their children. That was the process of a woman. Women rarely ever hunt next to that neither. My man says Sarge has been having weight issues since she was on Tough, and that's been almost 5 or 6 years, because she's been in UFC that long. So the thing is, why don't Dana White realize, or as I call him, Dana Wife Beater, realize that you cannot treat men the same as women? You should give them a little more leeway. As you know, Aspen Ladd got cut because she was having weight issues. Because I remember a few years ago when she was supposed to fight, Leslie Smith, she had an issue with a weight cut. She was overweight, But the fact is, Aspen Ladd back then was much younger. I think Aspen Ladd was in her early 20s, and at that age, a woman's still developing and growing and menstruating, meaning your body's still producing, eggs and stuff. Even if you are, I think some women they do take a birth control or they have a UDIs just in case they will get pregnant. But like I said, Aspen Ladd was still a young woman. She was a lot younger then, and your body's still growing and menstruating. Go through this, like I say, women really their bodies stop changing when they hit to their 30s. When and that's the point where they don't have to worry about cycling as often. They still do cycle, but then it's still because it's mentally because your body's prepared for having children. And I think it's a lot harder for younger fighters. You think about somebody like especially Mackenzie Dern. I think Mackenzie Dern had a lot of issues with that because remember Mackenzie Dern always came up heavyweight. I mean, she fought later up become great the lowly Mandy Polk, and they fight at 125 because Mackenzie Dern was so heavy back then. And Mandy's more 115. She said she wanted to fight 115, but because Mackenzie Dern was the big attraction, and she was fighting 125 for a long time, and they just say okay. And with that weight cut issue, they only give you like a pound or a pound and a half allowance, I believe, if you fight, especially fight for titles. If you anything, that's the thing. You got to be careful. I remember a while back. You remember Jinyu Fry when she was fighting for Invicta, when she was fighting for the Invicta title. She got stripped of title because she came overweight. The thing is, Invicta should be a little more open-minded. It's a women's division, and she understand. Even though Jinyu's like in her back then, I think she was still in her mid-30s. That's the thing. It happens. Even at that age, your body still, as a woman, you're still having those woman things. You can't help if your body has extra, body fat. Okay, don't think UF doesn't pay attention to some of these ladies up until one of these ladies continues to break their policies. That's the thing is, yeah. But you gotta realize, say like Marcus, like I said, Marcus like this, that policy needs to be changed. I think most doctors would tell you a woman has a natural BMI than a man. Now, weight cuts are bad for men too. Yes, they're bad for men too. Because I was looking up and I said, you know what, man, I'm on YouTube quite often. And, I see stuff like this. Like, okay, I'm going to show you this little video I saw when I was looking. And it was, I think it was from, I don't know, it might be a different organization or something, or one of the Tufts. I'm not sure. But, the guy, he probably almost died from his weight cut, and I played the video for you. And this is the reason why policies like this need to change. So here's a cool little clip. It's on YouTube. Yeah, this is a good example where weight cut was dangerous. This guy nearly bite his tongue off. He nearly died. Also on here we have this is the Chris Cyborg. Remember when she went to UFC? And Chris was she had to squeeze down to 140 because he didn't have a 145 division yet because she couldn't make 135. It was next to impossible. This is part of ESPN following Chris Cyborg. She's seeing, they put you in that hot tub of water, Epsom salt. She's sitting there crying because it's so much, and even though Chris Cyborg is a very impressive physical specimen, she's still a woman. You can't forget she's still a woman. And this affects her, because she was fighting 145, which was comfort weight for her, and she looks like she's nearly dying up there on the stand. We can't forget, this is another video I saw while I was looking up here. This is Jesse Rose Clark. Jesse Jess. He had to do pull the stuff and all this stuff to try to sweat out all the extra excess fluid off of you. You know, there's always little tricks you have to do to try to cut weight. I mean, like I said, these women, I know they want to compete because they have a passion for this fighting thing. It's some kind of salve or something supposed to draw the water out. You know, and Jessie she fights. Sometimes she's fighting 135. She fights at 125. She kind of up and down. It's like early in her career, but it's. I mean, I see. I forgot what the stuff is. It's something or another. You know, there's a lot of dangers to weight cut. You know, this is Patty Pimblepuss. You know him. Like, look at this fish probably was his early days we started. You know, but he's on roids a lot more than anything. But that says men don't have a higher BMI like women do. That's the big difference between the women's bodies and men's bodies. You know, the stuff they have to do. Aljamain Sterling. I'm a big fan of this young man. He speaks up about stuff that's going on that people don't want to pick up around this. And remember, a while ago, was it? I'm trying to remember her name. It was Julia Stolarenko. If I can find it, I'll probably find it later. Remember her a few years ago? Was it? I think it was last year, where she was getting ready for a fight, and then she just fell off the stage. And I'm saying, what? That's crazy. I mean, the girl nearly almost died. They took her, off the stage, had to carry her off somewhere, and it's just like I said, the stuff what these people go through, these fighters go through, to try to stay competitive. It's dangerous, especially for women. There's been a couple of times where female fighters nearly fell off the stage, or they fainted because their bodies will try to cut weight. And it is just dangerous for any woman. I understand you want to compete, you want to fight, you want to be in the mix, but just don't make sense. The risks these women take, day in, just to I know they want to be at the top of the game, but they take too many risks. Wasn't that long ago that I remember seeing a fight. Was it who was it? It was trying to remember. It was a fight with I think it was Bay Malecki, where she was fighting a fighter, and the woman, she's a tall woman, she's like nearly 6 feet tall, and she gets knocked out by a smaller fighter. Now, the thing is, she is not in the condition, because the fact is she's trying to make weight, and it wasn't healthy for her, because it was dangerous. How, she was knocked out. I think somebody said that now she has some kind of brain trauma from that knockout. But this is a debate where UFC, and not just UFC, Bellator, Invicta, most definitely Invicta should know better. Other organizations in which they have women fighting should have better clauses and rules for safety matters. This is here. I'm gonna pull up the video here. This is, I think it's from.
Getting lots of eye contact. I feel like this is going well. Just wish I knew what she was thinking.
See, the problem is I get that I didn't pay my what's the face bill. I still get that Yeah, I should get that shit with the wait a minute, we're about to show it out here. Here it goes. And look at this. She fell right off the stage because she's technically, remember, she originally was supposed to be part of that season of Tough when they were supposed to do women's 145 because the shit they did, and they didn't want to have 145 because of Cyborg. They decided not to do 145. Decided to go and push all these ladies like Julia and also um, Bay Malecki and Macy Chazon and Leah Letson down to 135. And that's why Leah Letson has decided to retire because the medical issues of trying to make that weight class is not good for her. She's a natural big girl. I don't know how long Chelsea Chandler's gonna last. You know, she's been doing pretty good. I think she only had one fight. You know, I think Momono Pasquale has issues because I think Momono Pasquale she needs a better eating habits. That's the truth with her. She needs better eating habits. But I don't know why she even tried to go back up again. And they knew there was issues with her. You see, when my man Marcus says you should already been out of the door. Oh yeah, she needs to go to back. She might need to go back to Invicta. Because she won the title over there, in, I think in 135, when she fought what's the face, the girl who fought Caesar Tennant for the title. You know, but you can see her. They had to eventually call emergency services for her, and it was and they're arguing about if she should keep on going. I think they had someone there. He had I think a doctor, a nurse right there. You see him off to the side of the screen. She's trying to convince herself, yeah, I'm good to go. But there's like a debate. You fell off the first time, you know, and this was like, first off, the safety of the fighter should be most important. And they should told her, you know what, nah, you need to go to the hospital. You might need some fluids in you. You need something. Because if you go back, you see, up that on that weight again, like I figure this should have, you know you should try to, she needs help. Weight again, like I figure this should have, you know you should try to, she needs help. Weight again, like I figure yeah, it just don't make no sense. She's back up on stage. Oh, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Oh. Like she's having a seizure. Paramedics should have been as soon as she fell out that first time. Let's, she got a little water and this is what I mean. She's risking her life and her health. And this is stuff that Fritz Nagano talked about. He said that fighters need some kind of health insurance and life insurance, something like that. As you know, they call fighters uncontracted workers. But it's funny how if you're uncontracted worker, you mean you can't go and work someplace else when you don't have anything doing this job? Like if I'm like this, if like this is, I used to work at a strip club. I talk about it a lot because I enjoyed that. There's some parts of the job I did like, and there's some parts of the jobs I didn't like. But I understand the ladies who came to the club were uncontracted workers, meaning they can come and go as they please, as long as they pay a fee to dance. Some girls they pay the fee up front for the night. Some girls might be a little short, so they pay the fee. So sometimes they can collect the money from them before they leave, because if we don't, we get in trouble. You know, and they come in, they pay the dance, and then they go. They make their money and they go. You know, and that's the thing is that if these MMA fighters are good unattractive workers. Okay, let them go ahead and okay, if there's not no fights for them, or like if they're sitting on like what happened with Sarah Man, she hadn't fought since this past March of last year, almost nearly good part of the year. Didn't have no fights. She wasn't forced to fight Asper Lab, but because Asper Lab's weight issues, that fight didn't happen. There was one time she was supposed to have another fight, but then she had an opponent. So what you expect for a fighter to do? Sit and just wait. If there's an opportunity, say, if there's another organization, maybe not as big as UFC, but hey, they say, well, we can offer you $15,000, and that's the whole thing. That's like, you can fight and get $15,000, and hey, you make a little money for yourself until you get another. Till the UFC has something for you that could work. But UFC is not worried about the health and the of their fighters. They're worried about their bottom line. But you got to remember also, like I said, a woman's body is totally different from men. You it's just basic science. You know, you know. But people need to understand that men and women are totally different, and it's just something. It's just how nature is. So I'm gonna pull this up a little bit. So I saw this here. Now, it's something I saw earlier. I thought I might share it with you quick.
The BMI or body mass index is a figure that we calculate using height and weight. Technically, it is the body mass divided by the square of the body height. Often, lots of charts and tables make it easier to understand or to calculate the BMI. And they offer conversions to different units like inches and pounds, kilograms, and meters. Well, in any case, what we find is when we apply the BMI to African Americans or Black people in the United States, we get some interesting data. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Is a BMI of 25 through 29.9. And finally, obese is a BMI of 30 or more. Now, it should be noted there are some limitations when it comes to applying the BMI to health. Everybody's body is a little bit different. Sometimes the information can seem a little bit skewed based upon extenuating circumstances. Say somebody has an unusually large amount of muscle, or they have a lot of fat around the waist, abdominal fat. And also, I should note that there are often better ways to determine someone's health than their BMI. But one thing we should know is that the higher the BMI goes, the greater the risks of health problems. That seems to be consistent among all the racial groups. Now, just as we did with height, weight, and 29.1, again, the difference between male and female BMI averaged BMI in 2015-2016 year in the non-Hispanic white category was 0. Now that changes a lot when we look at the non-Hispanic Black group. One thing to note is that the difference between body mass index in this group is greater than any other group. The difference between the average Black male body mass index and the average Black female body mass index is the largest of all racial categories. The average BMI for Black men was 29, which means that the average body mass index for Black men in this year was slightly lower than it was for non-Hispanic white men. Meanwhile, the average BMI for women was 31.9, meaning the difference between male and female BMI was positive 2.9, meaning the women had their average BMI was 2.9 higher than that of the men.
Now, see, that's a good example of that. As we have to factor in our ethnic backgrounds. That as black women, naturally carry more in their hips, in their thighs, in their buttocks than white women. White women most of the time are naturally leaner. I think it's about you know just about genetics. And that's also you got to factor because Sarge is black. She's a black woman, and even though she may not be like she's an athletic black woman, but she does carry more natural body weight than compared to some white women. Now with Mackenzie Dern, she's of a mixed culture. She's borderline like Hispanic because her mother's white, her father's Brazilian, and people who are from that part of the world have some very noticeable, if not some strong Afrocentric genetics, meaning black, meaning she's gonna have the thicker hips, the bigger butt. If you've seen pictures of Mackenzie Dern, she's a thick. Oh, I mean, she's thicker. And that's why she's doing pretty good now. Her weight, but back in the day she didn't because she was more of a young girl. She was a clubbing girl. Now she's a mom. She's single. I know you guys. You're happy that she's single now. And you look at a lot of the women who are particularly from certain countries, like like Julia. She's from Eastern Europe, where it's a lot colder, where women like that have to build up a little bit more body fat. Even though Valentina, she's from Russia, but it's always dependent on the area, and also those areas in which I think what's Julia? I think she's from. I know she's from what country she's from. I forgot. Uh, Let me see. I think if she's from a country in which the Turks invaded years ago, the Persians, and black people kind of spread it around between slavery and other cultures, over the years. Let's see. Let me pull her up. She is from what country is Julia from? I'm gonna, check it out. She is from Lithuania, so she's Lithuanian. So if I remember where's Lithuania? It's one of those countries that's it's borders something or another. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Let's see the map. I'm looking at the map where it's located. Let's see. It's one of those countries that's if it's a country that's near to, I would say, let's see, it's should be somewhere near. If it's close to, I would say, what would be closer to? Belarus, Poland. Let's see, like some parts of Eastern Europe, where in which you got Slovenia, Hungary, Romania. If I remember correctly, Hungary, one and Romania was countries that was invaded by the Persians years ago. The story. If you remember the story of Vlad Tepes, aka Dracula, how the Persians invaded their country. There's a good chance that she does have some of those because they like don't forget Greek and other countries they spread it around. Slavery is and some white people will have some black genetics. Over generations, it does kind of peter out a little bit, but it's still there. My man Exaguchi 23. He says, salute George Page. Hey, salute to you, XA. Yeah, salute to you, brother. I know he's happy that his fight is fighting in a couple of months. The man, the lion ass Queen Nunez. Probably say I hope that Irene Andana can knock her out, but I don't think she's gonna do it. But we can only hope. But this is why I'm saying like this. This is why organizations need to realize that women and men are different by biology. They are different, and like I said, with the same thing in the area. Well, if black men are like their BMI is 29.0, and a black woman is 31.9. That's only 2.9 difference. So white women probably a little lower than that. It might be, I think, let's say, let's say 26, maybe 27, maybe a little lower than that, maybe about, and let's say a white man's white people, non pretty much non black and Hispanic, which is Hispanic people are mixed. Yeah. Keep dreaming, clown. Well, I'll be a clown. I'll be a clown, X-A. I'll be a clown. Ha 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 ha. Be a clown, be a clown, be a clown. But you're a clown for liking Man of Nunes. I'm gonna clown you on that. But if there's, like I said, that difference between BMI between black and white women, they need to realize that. Like I said again, black women are much more naturally curvy, you know, and they are much, it's just that's how it is. They're much more naturally curvy, you know. I think only women that who are less curvy than black and white women are Asian women. X he's a, you know, he's dates a lady who's from Philippines. You know, don't cry, Alexa, beat Val. Who's gonna cry about that? That's not gonna happen. How's she gonna beat her? She's too scared. She can fight teenagers. She can. Nah, man, you don't cry if Alexa get beat up by Val. She gonna get dog walk. No, Alexa Grasso gonna beat no Valentina. She knows it. And everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. It ain't gonna happen. Who's gonna cry on that? But if you again, man, people with different ethnic backgrounds, even though we're all humans, we have different, things about us. Like I remember a few years ago, I was on a medication called Acetapro, and I was using it because of my blood pressure issues and my heart issues. I had got an allergic reaction. Somebody told me, they said, Acetapro is not good for black people. Because what happened to me was my throat swelled up. I barely could talk. I barely could breathe. I was stupid. This stupid thing I shouldn't have done. I drew myself to the hospital. The hospital was only like good 10 miles from where I stay at, but I drew myself there. I should have done it. I should have just called the ambulance and come pick me up. But you know how it is. You don't think about this, And some medications black people can't use. Some medications white people can't use because even though we do have blood in our system, our biology is different, very much different, And this is the issue why some organizations need to look at that. I know they want to say everybody's equal, but not in some levels, But he said, if it does happen, I'm going to clown the shit out of you. Well, it's not going to happen, so you may clown shit out of yourself. If you want to come on, brother, it's been a while since we did a chop up, together. Underrated. He's doing his thing now. We hadn't done this for long. If we ever want to do like we did back like on Sundays, just chop it up. Let me know because I missed that. Me, you, and Underrated. He's doing his thing now. He's not interested in talking about MMA like he used to. It's good to have conversations with someone like that. If you want to come on now, if you get the time, she's sitting there clowning. Just shoot me your. I forget your. I'll XA. If you got time, I'll shoot you a link. You want to come on and talk with me, and we can talk about this stuff here and also other stuff. Because I'll send you one. Because I got your number. It won't take me long, and I invite you if you want to come on and talk about this. We hadn't done a chop up together. I keep forgetting. I got your number. Sometimes I keep forgetting. I got your number. I got your number, brother. I got your number. I'm a little sucker. I'm be like, oh, you're talking to a girl right now. Okay. Do your thing, young man. Do your thing. You do what you can. Okay. But this is where organizations like the UFC, Bellator, even the Victor, which is supposed to be an organization that's for women, should realize that you cannot, cookie cut the same plan for a woman you do for a man. You have to change some things. Have to be a little smart. Like one thing, they only give you like, especially if you're fighting for a title, or just if you're not fighting for a title, you're supposed to become at the exact weight. If you fight just a regular 3-round fight, they give you a pound allowance. See, what my man say. Here's my prediction: once Valentina beats Alexa, everyone will say give Talia the rematch. Well, they probably will, but Talia, she's not 100%. she's compromised. That eye is compromised. And and if Valentina needs a good head kick and a couple of good punches, that fight's gonna stop by stoppage. I think it shouldn't, say, but he says, yeah, hit me up on Sunday. Okay, we will hit me up on Sunday. Been a while since we chop it up. Also, XA23, yeah, salute to XA, yeah, and salute to Marcus. Yeah, I think y'all brothers are coming through and support me. But should happen. I think there should be a catch weight clause in every women's fight. Okay, if a woman comes up 2 or 3 pounds short, 2 to 3 pounds over, if the other ladies agrees, because there's been sometimes if the other woman agrees, they have a catch weight. You know, yeah, we can talk about MMA. Yeah, it's been a while since we done that. You know, but should be a catch weight allowance for the women. You know, I think it should be a catch weight allowance. Now, some guy says, "Well, what do we have for the men?" Here, the thing is, guys, yes, maybe you should, but the fact is, men, you're different biology wise from women. There's been guys who had issues with coming up with, like Darren Till's a good example. Recently, just had that fight with Charles Oliveira. We got stripped his title because he came overweight. But like I said, yeah, I think it should be some allowance for men too. But you gotta remember, women are totally different. Men, we don't menstruate. Men, we don't make babies, and we don't lactate. Yeah, it's just how that is. And I think with some situations, I think sometimes stress. Like I know I do content on bodybuilding, and I know some ladies they talk to me saying like sometimes they got to compete at a show, and then stress happens, and then you just it's just not from eating, just your body will just start producing certain chemicals which kind of just mess with your weight a little bit. Stress can do that to you. It's not sometimes the stress is happening from eating. It just sometimes your body is just kind of it just works kind of strange way. I know I was talking to one lady that she was competing at a show and she looked good before the prejudging. No, she looked good before the prejudging because of stress. And then after prejudging, she looked a lot better. I think once the competition was over, everything was done, her body just feel more relaxed. Because sometimes nerves help you, will affect you. But that's how it is. It's funny about thing like that, you know. And some things need to be changed about it. So, so what should be done? I said again. Well, it should be some kind of research into it, and also I think some like USADA. If USADA is about drug testing, also USADA is about health, meaning that if they feel like there's an issue when women are falling off a stage, if you have women come in fights, not because they're not in their white weight classes because they're trying to squeeze in a division that doesn't work for them, like what happened with Macy Chiasson, what happened with Baby Malecki, what happened with Julia Stodorenko. These women are naturally bigger. You got to think about it. If a woman's like this, you look at somebody like Baby Malecki and Stacey and Macy Chiasson. Those women are nearly six. I know most definitely. I know Bay is 6 feet tall. Macy's nearly 6 feet tall. They gotta be around, maybe walking around 160, close to almost 170. So they have to compete in a division. They have to drop maybe 30 pounds worth of weight. That's not good for them. 145 is safer. They might have to drop 15, 20 pounds. That's not too bad. 15, 20 pounds. So, that'll be easier for them. They can, they won't have to, kind of perish themselves trying to make 135. And the thing is that, I know the reason why I don't want to create expand the 145 division because, we can't get these women that big, don't be looking that good. I mean, where are you? This is more like the white man mentality, the white Caucasian mentality that big women don't look that good. I'm from the South. I've seen some women who were big women, not too big, but nice, curvy looking shape. Some women were like 5'6", maybe 150, and look good. I know some of these guys like the little pencil neck girls. They're like girls who like about, you know, you know, 5'5" and 110. That's too skinny. especially if you're that tall. And that's one thing. Women have to deal with the idea of what men want. You should be more important what you want, what's healthy for you. I've seen some. I remember some girls. I remember a girl I went to school with. She was a skinny little girl. Cute girl, but skinny little girl. Then after she had her baby, she put on a little weight, but she was good. Weight worked for her because it gave her more of a body. She wasn't an athlete or anything. She's just a girl that I knew. You know. But that's the thing is about you know how people judge the idea of what a woman should look like over what a woman actually is. Women have more body fat in the areas that we're supposed to have. That's the thing that draws them in. They have the areas that we notice: the breasts, the hips, the thighs, the butt. You know, and it shouldn't try to kill themselves. Try to make it. Well, man, it's going to be interesting when Andrade fights her grandmother as her head coach. What the? I don't think this thing is. That's a good example. I don't think family and fighting should mix unless if you can separate that thing. I don't think any of your family members should be your managers, coach, or anything. Business and family should be two separate things. I don't know. If she loses to Lunchway Murphy, you should know better. I mean, come on, you don't. What did I don't know what kind of athlete her grandma is. I mean, I don't know. It's just she must couldn't hire nobody else. That's what it was. That's the thing. She had to hire her grandma because she's broke. Who hires your grandma? I mean, you can hire anybody. You may be your older brother or uncle. Somebody who's an athletic background. I don't know what kind of background her grandma has. But the thing is, organizations like Bellator, UFC, and most definitely Invicta, where I point this out, Invicta should have better policies when it comes down to women in weight cuts. It should have better policies. I don't understand why you have these policies. Shannon Nabb supposed to be different from the other organizations. This is a place women should supposed to go when they feel more comfortable. Andrade's going to KO Murphy. I believe so. It says, Marcus says, I can picture the grandmother saying, hang in there, sweetie. That's the thing is, I never knew my grandmothers because, my mother's mother, she died with a childbirth. And my father's mother died before I was born. But I had a great aunt. I called her Granny, my great aunt Bert. And she was like my granny. I call her my granny. Me and my younger brother, because we didn't know our grandmothers, we call her Granny. She was my great aunt Bert. But these organizations need to realize that, especially like I said again, Invicta. As you know, last night they had an event, and it was a good night for Brazilians, a bad night for everybody else. I was kind of disappointed with Tanisha Tennett's performance. I thought she would do better. At some point she had Celia Bernardo on the ground, where she should have went all out. She should have been so attentive. Her last fight with Olga Rubin, she squeaked by. Her fight against that chick that beat Stortorico, that got beat by Stortorico, Liz, what's her face? I can't say her name right, but I'll say Lisa, whatever her name is. That was a good fight. She really put a promising performance, but I think Tanisha Tennett, she should have really went all out. All Bernardo did was just grab and hold. If Bernardo fights somebody who has better takedown defense, like as you know, on that same card they had, Claire Guthrie, and they had Olga Rubin. Olga Rubin, she almost beat Tanisha, and she really put a bomb on Serena De Jesus. And what Claire Guthrie did to Autumn Norton, I don't think Talia Bernardo is going to hold. I know that's the coach's girl, that's the coach's girl, but I don't think she's going to hold that title long. If she faces a fighter that's a lot more aggressive and has better takedown and defense, she's not going to hold that title long. And it's not going to be a gateway for her back to Invicta, back to UFC. UFC they only get that one person the opportunity to come back, and that was Angela Hill, and everybody else ever does. No, I think Talita is gonna. If she gets a fight, I don't think they're gonna give a fight to Tanisha. I think Tanisha either just gonna fight the fight, or just she might well just either move over to 145 where it's vacated, because Pam Bam vacated that title almost 2 years ago, and go over there and fight for that title. She have a Phoenix. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised they had a Phoenix series for 145 yet. They had a Phoenix series for the atomweight division, and I think and the strawweight division, I believe. No, they didn't have Phoenix series stars series. They just fought that girl who fought that girl. She fought and she won the title because but they did have the Phoenix series for the atomweight division. And I think they had a Phoenix series for the bantamweight division. But they don't have a Phoenix series for the atomweight, for the 145 division, featherweight division. It's about time. It should. But like I said, it was a good night for Brazilians, bad night for everybody else. Not too many Americans did good that night, except for Klein and what's the face? She fought another American. So Olga Rubin's from Israel. She lives in Great Britain, but she's from Israel. So only 2 Americans win, 4 Brazilians and an Israeli. So, there was supposed to be another fight, but I think the fight was canceled. But here's as I talk about this: women and men are different. I need to realize that. I think there should be more allowances for women. I know some people, some fighters, we piss off about it. Some organizations we piss about it. But the fact is, you have to give them these little allowances. I know women in mixed martial arts, they have a hard time because people are not comfortable with the idea of women in fighting. Even in boxing is difficult. That's why you're seeing people like Clarissa Shields jumping over MMA, because the fact that boxing is not as profitable for them compared to any other sport. I think it might be MMA just a little bit more profitable for them. I just saw my girl Tay Brown, my sister. She just posted that Clarissa Shields now doing BJJ. She should have been there from the get go. Her fight against that chick Montez, she got to beat that girl. All she had to do is, like, when she had against the cage, step back, let the girl pick up her head and drop some more hammers. Fight smart. She got to beat that girl. And like I said, I was kind of disappointed with Tanisha Tennant's performance. I was. She could have did a lot better. I just saw WMA Addict talked about it, and I agree with him. She could have done a lot better. And the one thing is that she does have a job. She works as a nurse at a retirement home. And like I said, if these fighters were more profitable, like with boxers don't have to worry about having a job. Even if you're not even a ranked boxer and not even hold a title, you still make more money than some of the lower end MMA fighters. That's why a lot of these boxers don't have to worry about a job. Once you start making real money, you can quit your job and just sit on what you make from your prize money. Think about it, That's also the thing is, like, remember how people talk about how, Francis was getting this much, but Francis wanted to do more than just get some money. He wanted more. He wanted some health benefits, not just the fight, but after the fight. You call like I said again, you call the fighters uncontracted workers, but you can't give them health benefits after they're fighting. But that's why they did it, because they don't have it. I remember when I was working my old job, I used to work at Sophie's. I worked there for 13 years. First 8 years, and I left in 5 years. Okay, and when I left those, when I quit the first time, I worked through a temp service. It costs more to pay for health insurance through a temp service than it was when I was at Sophie. So what was, I paid so much a month. So much a week. It was so much a week, and then my job covered the rest. That's how insurance works. And that's the thing is, that's how they save money, because if they gave all their fighters health insurance, that means that the UFC has to cover the rest of the cover the health insurance. That's how most jobs do. You pay your cut, the job pays theirs. That's how it save money at. If you think about it, if they had health insurance for all the fighters, that's probably millions of dollars they had to pay in for health insurance for every fighter they have on their roster. Probably close to millions. So that's where they save money at, because they don't have to pay their health insurance benefits, nothing like that. Fighters pay their cut, and the UFC pays theirs. It's fair. So much pressure on the fighters. I remember we changed maybe insurance companies 2 or 3 times because the price kept changing. You want to find something cheaper, so they wouldn't pay so much. But sometimes it gets more expensive on us than on them. But it's just, you got to realize women and men are different. That's how things are. Common sense, we say, okay, we understand her, you got to work with somebody like this woman, like we say to her Sarge. Instead again, Sarge is still a female. No matter how much you think, she's, but she's still a female, and she's a black female. I think it's a lot harder for black women. Even you look at somebody like Angela Hill, you know, she is black. You look at some of the other female fighters who are Brazilian, who are from countries such as Mexico, other countries such as Colombia, those countries in which there was a lot of slavery migrating at their time. They have those black aesthetics, and also from other parts of the world where they do have some aspects. You see, if you like I say, I'm from the South again, and I do see quite a few women of Caucasian nature who has figures that almost borderline to that of black women. Not too much like black women, but just enough. Yeah, I know this one chick. Oh my God, ooh, whoa, ah, she was built. You know, yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, black Latinos. Yeah, because like Puerto Ricans, Cubans, anybody, Dominicans, anybody around the Caribbean, they're gonna have black genetics. The Brazilians, you know, even Mexico. That's like if you Mexicans, like you gotta remember, Texas was not too far from Mexico, and Texas was one of the last states that ended slavery, and a lot of slaves used to cross the border into Mexico because slavery was outlawed because they kicked out Spain. So you're gonna have a generation of people where black people were all over the world. We're not just Africa. We're in Europe. We're in South America. We're in North America. We're in Canada. We're in the Caribbean. We're out in Polynesia. If you go to Australia, you see the Aboriginal people. They look dark complected. The hair is a little curly, but they were dark complected. And those genetics affects some women's BMI. Actually, I know you probably ran into some girls who, especially if they're like, mixed, like I said, even like I said, my man, actually, Asians, yeah, even some parts of like if you look at people who are Indian, they actually are more a little bit have black in them. They have a little bit, they're a little Afro Asian. We go to India, but people don't realize that black people, we're just not just Africa. We have spanned the world, and if you can't forget also that life started in Africa. That's how it started. It says, Malaysians are beautiful. You must be a fan of that chick, the tennis player. What's the face? I forgot her name. She's kind of cute. She's kind of cute. I still love Serena. Serena got that monster booty. I mean, but yeah, but people got to realize that biology and also our sex separate us. Men and women are different. It's just that's how it is. Biology, ethnic background, sex separates us, and that's the factors that go into, especially when you're trying to fight, basic natural body built. My man actually says, yeah, Naomi, hell yeah. Yeah, she's a little young for my taste, XA. She's a little young for my taste. Yeah. But this is where in which it should be a study. I think it'd be smart. They should do a study, especially with fighters. I would say take 5 fighters, 2 males, 2 females, or I think 3 males. Let's make it 6. Okay, you take 1 white male, 1 white female, 1 black male, 1 black female, 1 Latin male, and 1 Latin female, and run a test about how biology and sex affects, especially as fighters. Do a blind study. See how they do weight cuts like that. How they exercise. Watch them. Like especially you can. It's just something that needs to be done. Somebody, there's somebody out there who might be interested in doing this. If it's a great test. So also, you can give this to other people. But the problem is, organizations like UFC, Bellator, PFL, Invicta, Ryzen, all of them, they're not going to pay attention to that because that affects their bottom line. But like I said, these fighters, they have to, later on move on. You have women now because the fact is they try to do these weight cuts affects their fertility. There's a lot of women in MMA who, if you're unlucky, unless you're like somebody like Certain Man was pretty fertile, but before she got into MMA, she had her daughter. Then she had her son. That means she was really fertile. You know, you just saw Mackenzie Dern. She's very fertile. She has a daughter. She can probably have another child because she's still young. She's still in her late 20s now. So Randall Marcos, she's got pregnant. She's supposed to have a child, I think, coming this spring. But she has competed for a long time. That means her body was time to rest and really develop, and then boom. You look at someone like Holly Holm. Now, this is reason why Holly Holm and her husband broke up. Men, we even though we're not like when we do have that moment when we want to have children. We do have men. We have a biological shot clock. Not but it's just we get to that later life. Say, you know what, I want to have a family. And you look at your wife, and your wife's an athlete. She competes. She's a fighter. And you after a while you say, you know what, I love you, sweetheart. I support you. But, let's start a family now. Now you're really, she said, nah. She's focused on her career. She felt like once she had a child, her career is over. Now Holly Holm is barren. I mean, she's barren. She's 41 years old. So she can, if she's trying to have a child now, this thing is, women, the doctor said women should never have children past 40. She's 41, 42. They say the best years for having childbirth is early 20s to early 30s. After that, you try to have children, you have chances of a child born with birth defect, miscarriages, or, just it's a long list of stuff that could happen. Especially if you think about doing in vitro. That's the dangers of when you have children, because women, you have that window when you're still young till we get up to middle age to have children. And some women think about, especially when it's like, what, I want to have a family. That's where young fighters, they try to fight as long as they could. And then if you have a boyfriend or a husband, you're like, one good example was Miranda Maverick. I think Miranda is like maybe 26, 27. She just got married. I think her, she's kind of lost a little steam the last couple of fights. She lost against, I think she got lost to by Molly McCann. Yeah. I've seen Miranda Maverick. I've talked about how she has a great physique. I think she has potential for a bodybuilder. I mean, I'll talk about that. All that has to happen if she's not on the pill or taking or has a UDI. All has to as an EID, whatever little thing you put into yourself, so you don't have to take the pill. All it needs to happen is one day somebody slips up, and boom, she's pregnant. Look what happened to Mackenzie Dern when she got pregnant. She lost a lot of sponsors. Or good example, Alexis Felix, who Olympic level runner, sprinter runner. She decided now she was at the age where she wanted to have a child. And the thing with a lot of women, and this is also in bodybuilding. It happens quite often because the fact is these ladies take gear, and that gear does affect their biology. But some women who, like there's a lot of women who I know who had children before they became bodybuilders. People like Eva Montgomery, Tita Williams, Donna Salid, a couple others right now I can't think of. They already had their kids before they became bodybuilders. But those women who are who never had children, good examples like that, like who probably missed the window. Like I would say Andrea Shaw. She may not have kids because she's already 39, and she's been competing for a long time. Helen Trevino, her shot is gone. She's 47. I think if she decided, I know she's married, and she decided who she wants to. There's Angela Yo, but Angela has to really get off the gear and really let her body try to get more feminine, more softer. I remember a few years ago, Linda Murray, after she last competed back in '96, which was when she lost the second time to Kim Tversky. There was a story where she said she was married at the time, and she wanted to have children with her husband. but she said she had at least 2 or 3 miscarriages because her body chemistry had changed because of the fact she was using gear. Even though the gear back there was as heavy as now, she was using it because you don't develop much like that without using gear. And a lot of these women use some things, especially if you want a weight cut. They tell you ain't supposed to use like diuretics, but they do. Especially if they use something that's the USADA doesn't. It's not banned USADA. And when you are trying to make weight, it does affect your cycle. And then if you are someone has a relationship with a man, you have a husband or boyfriend, he's has saying, I want to have kids, that those weight cuts can really affect your body, your chemistry, everything, even your brain, because you really you're divulging your body of fluids, and your brain is sitting fluid. So if you're divulging your body in fluid, your body has to find fluids elsewhere to survive, and it will just go take that fluid from your brain if there's enough of it just to keep it going, because you need fluids. People people die from dehydration. You know, but I won't be here too much longer. But this is something I just feel like needs to be talked about because I'm trying to be on my MMA content as much as I can. I do focus on bodybuilding, but it's kind of slow right now. I mean, no shows coming up. Me and my partner, Jen, we have strapped ourselves to talk about. It's just it's a lot of stuff. But this is something, as me and a content maker and a fan of MMA, it needs to be talked about. It needs to be spoken about. People, these women should be afraid to say, what? Well, why don't you give us maybe a pound and a half more allowance? Like, okay, like 2.5 pounds. What's 2.5 pounds? Not too much. It's not. I know if anything past 5, okay, but 2.5 pound allowance for women. You can give guys 1 pound allowance or maybe 1.5. To be a happy medium, so guys won't be complaining and say, "Why are you getting these women this like a pound and a half extra?" Okay, fellas, we'll give you half a pound extra on you. Because the fact is, guys, we can lose weight a lot faster than women because our bodies we have testosterone and we have higher levels to lose the weight. Now, one thing is I need to lose a little weight because I did pretty good, but the holidays got me, and then this time of year, you just, and I think I'm not even plateaued yet. I have to really push it. I got to work out tomorrow. I got to really push it. I need to really push it. Also, I need to change my diet. I need to get away from certain things, but there's days where you're at home, you're bored, you know. But I have to work on that. I know I have to work on me. Man, I need to see a nutritionist. Also, I need to see a psychologist or something like that. But I have to work on me first before anything. But I'm doing pretty good. But that's what these people need to realize. These people, these organizations, PFL, UFC, Bellator, especially Invicta, that you have to give these ladies a little bit more allowance. Say, I might say, don't eat at night. I try not to eat at night. Say, I try not to, but yeah, you be, especially you be hankering something. And that was one of my bad habits. I used to work my job. Was that another job at strip club? Sometimes you get off work and it's like usually I get home to. Sometimes I can get home to like 5 o'clock in the morning, and and I've been up on my feet, running around here, doing this, doing that, and you be wanting something, and it'd be like your stomach we call you, man. I used to stop at the Waffle House, get myself a burger and some hash browns, with the cheese and chili. I should have got it. Brother. I should have got it. But if you calling me, calling me. But but I'm working on it. And I'm trying to do better. I try to do better, but it's hard part. But that's the thing is that the human body will have cravings for something. Like I know some ladies, like they told me, especially bodybuilders, after the show, they're on a strict diet. They try to eat clean. They have to be prepared. They have to come in shredded. And after the show is over, sometimes just before the main show, because the pre-judging is a show where in which says I eat fruit every morning for my breakfast. Well, I don't eat breakfast anymore. I stopped eating breakfast because that breakfast thing was it was a thing for me and my mother. I take my medication. I have some, a nice juice to drink, but I don't really eat breakfast. I have lunch and I have my dinner. I might have a snack in between, like maybe, you know, like a piece of fruit, like you said, or maybe some chips, or or a sandwich. But that's different. But I'm trying to break my habits. I'm trying to break my habits. But I was saying, what these ladies in bodybuilding like, there's like they have the competitions. They have their prejudging, where the judges see how they look. They can't drink any water. They can't, it's kind of like with fighting almost. They can't have any kind of heavy food because they want to look shredded and conditioned. But after prejudge is over, they go eat a little something just to give them something in the stomach and fill them up a little bit. But then after the show is over, the competition is done, they go all out. They go hard wild. I mean, I remember one lady said, George, if you ever come to the show, you come with me because you think you pay for my meal. I said, what you want to eat? I said, well, sure, George, I might want some cheesecake, a cheeseburger like that. Dang, if I'm gonna pay for all of that, I better be getting some. But she's a good friend, and she's married, so we laughed about it. But yeah, I know with a lot of these fighters, when they get to hydrate after they do the weigh-ins, that means they get to drink a little water, a little something like that. I remember when I went to Savannah, a guy who a man and woman interview up at Stephen and Kira. I need to get back with them on IG because when I got my new IG account, I forgot to add them on. I remember I gave him a thing called, it was a Pedialyte. Pedialyte's good for hydration. I like when I make my care boxes for the ladies who I did interviews with. I send them a little of this. I used to send them a jug of Pedialyte, but then I found out there's a Pedialyte sell them in a box, like little packets, and that's good for when they work out. They mix it with some water. They drink it, and helps them keeps them hydrated, especially when you try to lose a lot of extra water and fat to look more shredded and look more vascular. And that's good. I think you should. They should also have, you know, like with that situation with Julio, have medics ready because there's been a few times where there's been fighters that kind of got on the scale because I think who was it? I think who was that one time? She was shaking so bad. I mean, Marcus, you still here? You remember her? The girl was shaking so bad when she was on the stage. I forgot who it was. I know Coach talked about it. I forget who that fighter was. She was shaking so bad. It looked like she, I think it was. It wasn't. Was it Julio again, or was it somebody else? You know, I can't remember. But I know I was watching it when they did the weigh-in. She was just shaking because her body was denied certain fluids and nutrients because you got to come in and that's not good. Your body's telling you something. Your body's giving you a warning signal that you need something. You need a drink of water. You need something. Water's good, but water doesn't have no flavor and also not enough nutrients. It's good for you want something really can fill in those nutrients and vitamins that you lost from losing all that water weight. You're just drinking more water. You need something really to give you a little boost. That's why when I do my care package for ladies I do interviews with, I send them that appeal light. It's a sports appeal light. I remember one lady when she saw it, she said, thank you because you know what, I need this because sometimes I'm back at the stage, I'm dehydrated, I need something to give me that boost. They appreciate it. But yeah, so I think if you are a person who knows a fighter, recommend that to them. Say, hey, it's called P-Light Sports Care. I think that's what it's called. I think that's what the name of it. I got a couple packages because I got a box I got to send off for a lady this coming next weekend because her birthday's coming up. I promised her a box. I'm gonna send it off next weekend, and those little things help these fighters and these ladies out because the fact is they need it. It's tough, being a woman in a sport in which and it's tough. It's just tough as a man too, but it's tough for women because women are not meant to be, to push their past their body weight. Women are supposed to be more full figured, full good hips, good size and the hips and the thighs and everything else. They can't help it. It's just their nature. But it's just unsafe practices what these women are putting themselves through. I know they want to fight. I know they want to fight, but your health is more important. You know, you shouldn't have to nearly die. Because you want to compete. And I think if these organizations were more sensitive, because you know what, no one comes to see Dana White beat a fight. No one see Costco to fight. No one comes see Shannon Nab fight. No one see Ray Seafold to fight. No one see any of these promoters and executives to fight. They come see the fighters, and the fighters are the main. No one can. I know one said that. Oh, Dana White does a great job when he promotes his stuff. He does a good job, but the fact is, he's not a good person, and he's concerned about his bottom line. He's concerned about his wallet, but not concerned about his fighters that he's supposed to be, promoting his wallets or their health. You know, it's just a different standard. You know, and I think when you realize women, like I said again, are different from men, it's just that's how nature is. That's how nature works. There's nothing much you can do about it. This is why it should be more allowances for women. I know guys are gonna complain, they're gonna whine and cry about it, but the fact is, guys, we are much different from women. And like I said again, give women instead of that 1 pound allowance, give women a pound and a half allowance. Okay, if you got a fighter, okay, you got a fighter fighting 127, 125. Okay, she comes in 128. Okay, all right. So you could ask the other fighter, you have the chance either you don't fight or we just make it a catchweight fight. If they want to fight, let them fight. You know, 2 or 3 pounds, it's not gonna make too much of a difference, especially if you're not a good fighter. If you're the better fighter, I would say go ahead and fight. Or also, like if you have, like I say again, catchweight. They used to allow catchweight fights. I remember one lady who did an interview with Shamir. She fought Ramona Pasquale. Ramona, she went up to UFC, got a butt kick, and they kicked her out. And I remember where she said that she was like at 150. And if you know Shamir, you follow my channel, you know Shamir. Shamir is thick, as she's thicker than a Snicker. She can't help because she's from Tennessee. She is a Southern white girl, and she can't help how her body's built. You know, she like I said, the fight was supposed to be 145. I think they fought at like 150. And she nearly tried to. I think she had a decent showing for herself, but it was tough because it's harder for her body. She hadn't fought since that fight with um Ramona. You know, and like I said, we talk every now and then. I might need Wednesday need to bring her on, and but like I said, I'll show you some video, and she can't help but be you know thick. I mean, it's just her nature to be built like she is. She's cute too. She's just turned. She's cute. I ain't gonna lie. She make you get it. You know, she has a boyfriend. How it is. She's a nice dude. They engaged. They're not ready to get married yet. They just like being engaged. And Shamir is one of those girls, a good example of how some women are built differently. Now, look at this. 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 She fights MMA, but the fact is, her body's different. She can't help but look at that. She has bigger hips, bigger butt. If she did fight at 145, it wouldn't miss too much of it. She's nice. She's cool. I might want to do a live with her. I think her last fight, I think it's somewhere here, where she fought Ramona Pasquale. That's the girl who got kicked out of UFC. Let's see. I think it's somewhere. That fight is somewhere. I know she posted it a while back. It was like the fight lasts, I think, barely a full minute. Let's see, where's that fight? It's somewhere on here. She does train. So I joke about it. Like I joke about it. But she's good. She has a good sense of humor. but she got jiggled. She can't help it. You know, I remember was a fight I was a fan of uh Sarah Morris. Remember Sarah Morris? She was fighting 135, and Sarah Morris was here's what another lady who's also become friendly with. That's Dee Vertram. Dee is a amateur bikini competitor, and Dee's now going over to wellness. Dee's a nurse. She's a mom. Every woman's body type is different. You know, Dee's a nice lady. I try to get in contact with her. I think her birthday was coming up. She had a birthday a while back. She had a gift. What's that fight with Shamir? And she had it on here. I think this is her boyfriend. This is just a clip. It's a boyfriend, a fiance. But where's that fight? I seen that fight. She had it on here. Somewhere way, way at the bottom, I believe. Let's see. Somewhere. I saw that fight. Maybe let me check if. Now here's see what somebody look like Liz Carmouche. Now Liz Carmouche, she's naturally leaner. Liz has a little bit more muscle definition. She can lose. She does pretty good on her weight cuts because she's an ex-marine. Her training. But Liz has a little bit more muscle mass compared to Shamir. Where's that fight? Fight somewhere. It's on here. And it's probably it's way down here. But let me see who else I'm gonna pull up quick. Let me see. See Ramona. Mona. I think that's what's it. So let's show her best. I think this is like this is another example. Ramona Park Square. Now she is naturally for Asian chick. She's naturally thick. Yeah, and she's gonna get her butt kicked. I mean, they pulled her because they want to get the Asian market, like we did with Wally Zhang. And look, she has a good amount of jiggle. She's more like flirting her arms. She wasn't ever ready. She was never really ready for the UFC. She needed more time to stew in Invicta. Even who's this fight? Jones Nunez or somebody? Forgot the girl's name. Yeah, she was that fight with her. I think you can tell she needs to really work on like her weight. She likes to eat. She's kind of like here this picture right here. This is a good example. You know, she's Asian. You don't think you see an Asian chick with that much cake. Yeah, she's covered up. She has a little more in the hips and in the butt than she has. Than on the upper part. She's a little bit lean on the upper part, but once you see everything else, you know, yeah, she like look at the thighs, and she has. I mean, she's a thick Asian chick. She's I think she's what you call an anomaly. You know, I think she was fighting 135, where she should have been fighting 145, but she was able to make the weight. It takes a lot of work. The thing she's training too heavy. That's the thing is, you shouldn't train too heavy because you know muscle does way more than fat. Yeah. You see, laughing, thick. He says, "Hell no." Yeah, you know. Well, we talking about Shamir? Or are you talking about Ramona? Yeah, because you know Shamir. I know she's a thick chick. She posts a lot of stuff. She's proud of her thickness, and she should be. You know, it's just you should be proud of your thickness. If you get nice, you look junk in the trunk, you should be proud of it. Ramona turned out to be VP, one of those cream puffs. Yeah, yeah. I think she needed more time to stew than Victor Marcus. She needed more time to stew. She wasn't ready for the big show. You know, she had no butt. Well, compared to some fighters, XA, she has a little bit more than others. She just got more thighs. This is one thing. I knew women who had, there's difference between butt and booty. She has a butt, but she doesn't have a booty. There's a big difference. She has a little bit more. She has a little bit more in the thigh area than she has in the buttocks area. There's a big difference between butt and booty. You know, but the Brazilian sister on the screen. uh, well, like I said, yeah, remember Brazilian women are mixed culture. They're gonna have European descent, native descent, natives that live in that area, and the Africans that were brought there as slaves. You know, unless you have some people who are of more European-ish, because the fact is, a lot of richer families, high-end families, didn't want to blend. So they try to keep from blending, but they, funny, a lot of these rich men would still have sex with slaves and Native Americans, but didn't want their children or their wives to mix. But that's the sense. But yeah, Ramona, yeah. Well, like I said, she doesn't have a booty. She does have some butt. She has more in her thighs than she has in her butt. I've known some women who have big, thick thighs and not like on the backside. She does have a little more cheekish than some of the women I've seen. If you compare it to somebody else, she does have a little more cheekish. She don't have a big old monster butt. She have a big old monster booty, but she does have a little more cheekish than some of the other girls. She's still a little slack in some areas. She don't have that hump. It's more in the bottom of the cheeks. It is over because you ever see a woman with that perfect P, that perfect P, shape where like she turns around, it looks like it's a P or upside down B. You know, that's the perfect figure for one who's like I'm trying to think of another woman who I'm trying to think. It's a wrestler. She's kind of like, I'm not talking about if you ever heard of her. No, she's a wrestler. And she wrestles in the WWE. Wait, wait. And wait a minute. There she is. Now, she is built like a brick house. I mean, she's built like a brick house. I mean, she's built like a brick house. I mean, ooh, I mean, this chick, she's built like a brick house. She's a white chick. She's built like, look at that. Look at that. That's not a booty per se. That's a big butt. There's a big difference. She has more width and depth, but you can see in the thighs. You know, when she turns around, she has a bit of a jiggle. She has a little bit more, a little bit more width. This is how it works. XA, you work by three dimensions. You have, you work with width, depth, and height. The Keita has more width and depth, but she doesn't have that height, and she's tall too. So and I know I'm going pervy sage for. I should have had my Lord of the Wall. I should have my pervy sage up there. This chick is, you know, she just about has that peak. You know, she has a little more width than she has depth. You know, I don't know if it's natural. Probably want to say it's natural. You know, probably want to say it might be maybe surgery enhancements. You know, I'm sure it's picture here. She better never ever do intergender matches. She better never do any intergender wrestling. Because if she says something like that, don't ever do no intergender. If you ever leave WWE, don't ever do any intergender wrestling. She does not need to do any kind of intergender wrestling. You know, I think we're pretty good tonight. I should. I'm going off track. I know I'm going off track. I'm going off track. This chicken makes you go off track. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, her and mm, looks like a BBL. Thing about BBL, like I say, you can really tell with the BBL because most women who do the BBL, they bring in their waist in too. She's still a little bit broad in the waist. No, she's just that. I think she's a little natural. She's a naturally thick white girl. She's probably from the Midwest because this is this. Your thicker white girls are going from the Midwest and from the South. You go like where you around you're around Boston. You know, it's natural. You can tell the difference between natural and fake. Some of these natural girls, like if you've seen like people like if you see Richard Archivich now, she her she got her breast implants. She got her breast implants bigger. She looks a little fake. Natural women are gonna be a little thicker. If she wants to be more um you know more not natural, you can tell because her waistline will be a lot smaller. And she's just thick. And she's like I said, I think she's from the Midwest. She gotta be from the Midwest. That's farming country. Corn fed. She's corn fed. She's from the South, the Midwest. I think she's in the Midwest. Any farm and more farming areas, women are gonna be a little bit more thicker because the eating habits are different compared to women. If you go like women out west who eat a little healthier, they eat like nuts, berries, and twigs. Compared to women down here, we eat corn pone and beans and rice. But yeah, white girl not built like that. That's do BBL or gym. Like I said, that's not BBL. That's not BBL. But I can tell you, I've seen some white girls who can give some sisters competition. But there's a difference. A black woman have that perfect arch where it comes from the top and tuck in underneath the lower part of the cheeks. White women will have a little more width. They won't have that perfect arch. They have a little more width and maybe a little more thickness. Like this different. Like I said, it works on 3 dimensions. Yeah, width, height, and depth. Some sisters, good black women, they have all three. They have width, meaning they're a little wider. They have height and they have depth. Some women will have two. They have width and a depth. Some women have width. They just have width but no depth. You know, those like you break it down like this. This is me being a biologist. You have behind, butt, booty, and ass. Behind is just flat. You can tell where your back ends and your butt begins. Butt, a little bit more thickness. It looks nice in a nice pair of jeans or what kind of dress. Then you have a subsection called big butt, where it looks a little thicker, but big butt can be thought as booty. But booty works on 3 dimensions. It works. Actually, booty works on 2 dimensions. Where big butt works on width and depth. Booty works on height and depth, not so much as width. Some women, a woman can walk to you. She looks like she's narrowing the hips. But when she turns to the side, you see that hump. She don't have a lot of width. Now, ass works on the 3 dimensions: height, width, and depth. If you see a woman walking towards you and her hips are moving side to side, she's swaying, She has good amount of width, and then she turns around and you see that hump. That's ass. People confuse. People see a chick with a big butt and say, "Oh, that's a big that's a big booty." That's not a big booty. Big booty is almost like ass, and ass is on its own. You don't say when we see ass. You don't say big or large anything. It surpasses those words. We see chick with ass. She says she just got ass. You don't need to put big on it. You don't need to put large on it. You don't put any adjective on the ass other than maybe it's a pretty ass or it's a fat ass. That's it. You don't need to put size to it because the fact is it surpasses those sizes. That's the difference. With Nikita, she's a thick white girl, probably from the Midwest. She has width and she has depth, but she doesn't have the height. She doesn't have how the top curves into the inner thigh. Have I educated you, brother? Archie Marcus, have I educated you too? That's a big difference. You know, black women have that hourglass figure. They have their smaller waist. And this thing, we do a BBL, they also have to bring in the waistline in. You have to tuck it in. You have to put the fat deposits in a way where it looks like you have, because you ever see some women who get the BBL, you can tell, especially how they look. It's obvious sometimes. With her, it's not too obvious. She, like I said again, she's a thick white girl. I'm not gonna lie. But if she did get a BBL, you know, it's like I said, it's somebody we working now. Kim Kardashian, I believe she did it, but Kim back in the day was a lot thicker. She wasn't that thick. Kim was like natural, you know. And one thing is, she, like I said, she, it's just, like I said, it was like I said, it was more perfect. It's not like a perfect shape. You look at it. So aspects, if you pay attention to detail, you know how the cheeks is in, like how the cheeks are lower, are a little lower. Where usually some women on BBL want to be a little higher. They want that little lift. You see how the bottom cheeks are kind of hanging, overlapping over the back of the thigh. Yeah. Yes, if you really, that's the thing, you got to really pay attention to detail. Oh, and she's natural, come on, it might be, whoever did she did a great job, you did a good job, you can tell. But enough about her. We're not going to spend too much long time on her. We're going to move on from, the Nikita Alliance. Yeah, brother. But just pay attention to it. The BBLs are a little more obvious. Some women you would think it's a BBL, it's just nature. Others, it's obvious. Sometimes it's more obvious. Especially, pay attention to the legs and the thighs. If her legs are skinny, thin, tiny little legs, where it doesn't match the rest of her, she got butt implants or a BBL. If you pay attention to the legs and the thighs. That's the thing you should pay attention to. Don't pay too much attention to just the butt itself. Pay attention to how the legs look. Because I've seen some chicks that look like they got butt implants because their legs be a little smaller. It doesn't fit their body. It looks kind of strange. It looked like somebody took a toothpaste and squeezed it to the top. You know how you get the toothpaste in the tube and you squeeze it, and just all you left is the tube's all flat and not much up to it. That's how some women look who get butt implants or do a BBL. Because if the legs and the thighs don't match with the rest, it's like when you're building a foundation, you want the foundation to be stronger to hold the building. Your legs are your foundation. If your foundation looks like a weak foundation, it's just not gonna hold the building. But besides that, okay, but you gotta realize women are different body types, different biologies, different everything. And common sense, we know, like, what? Try to recognize that. UFC, Bellator, PFL, and most definitely Invicta. If being Shannon Nab, she's a thick woman herself. She's a little bit more top heavy, a little lean on the bottom, because she has big natural boobs or she got implants, whatever. You should realize that, and also these sports commissions and also USADA need to recognize that men and women are different. What works for a man doesn't work for a woman. You know, I know, like I said, in my content, what I do about bodybuilding, women do use certain pads or muscle enhancers, but some of those muscle enhancers can be risky. It do affect your biology. It do affect your body chemistry. It do affect how you look. Especially if you take it too long to a extreme. But like I said, but it does. It takes more than just steroids to make you a better bodybuilder. You have to work hard. You have to diet. You have to train. Everything. There's a lot of work you have to put into bodybuilding. It's just not just popping some pads and then boom, you get on stage. Because I know one guy told me that some of those guys are just gym guys who don't even compete. They do it. And they look like shit. You know. But there should be more better studies. And it shouldn't take too much. I think this, hey, come on, if you can waste money on congressional hearing on baseball players taking steroids, you can throw a few bucks about healthy, safe methods for people in mixed martial arts and boxing too. Boxers, they also have to go through weight cuts. And women in boxing, that's a strain. You know, like I said, some of these women, hey, they might want, I want to have kids, I want to start a family. Then it's too late because what you were doing affected your body. Body chemistry can't, because you were basically denying your body's factors of nature, the follow the factors of nature. When your body was menstruating, when your body was producing eggs, and when your body was ready to, start, having kids, you denied it, you pushed it back. So then your body said, you know what, we're not going to do it anymore. We're done. So you get to the point where you out of the game, you tired, you say, I want to have kids. Like you heard that Jermaine Duranamy, she's supposed to be pregnant for her significant other. I'm surprised because she's you wouldn't think it'd be her girlfriend or wife to get pregnant, but it's her. So it must be wrong with her wife where she couldn't get pregnant. So they decided because Jermaine maybe was still capable. They might have got maybe she can't, maybe the wife couldn't hurt a baby to term. So they did a vitro, fertilized the wife's eggs and gave it to Jermaine and she's carrying the baby. That could be it. Or like I say, just so much to go on. Like one thing is, if you want to have kids, having kids naturally is more and more potent than having through vitro fertilization. Sometimes those things is expensive as a hit and miss. It is expensive and it's a hit and miss. Remember the movie She Hate Me with Anthony Mackie, who plays the new Captain America. Him and Spike Lee movie that they did together, where he lost his job. His ex fiance and her new girlfriend came and asked him they want to have children, and they say it's more potent to have children through the natural process of man and woman. And then he started having sex with all these other lesbians because the fact was they knew it was more potent for them to have kids through that way than go and have to pay hundreds of dollars to pay a doctor to shoot you up with a needle, and then you may not get pregnant. In the end of the movie, he was the father of a bunch of kids. Because sperm is more potent. You can put it in a little dish and a little bottle and stuff like that, inject it to a woman. It might work. It's hit and miss. You have to maintain. And you put it in cold something. You have to keep it warm. It's hit and miss. But the natural ways are sometimes better. There's natural better ways to lose weight. Follow a diet. Stay on if you know you're gonna be, if you like, especially if you know you're gonna have a fight, you might have to stay on like Valentina Shevchenko is a good example. Valentina, she does eat, she does party, she does have a good time, but she knows when she feels like she might have a fight, she eats with more control. She doesn't overdo it, and she trains. Problem is, a lot of these fighters here, they eat. Look at like Pammy Pimplepuss. Look like a fat Ringo Starr. But that's the thing is, you have to be better control. Eat a good diet. Eat year round. Always be prepared. So if you somebody say, "Hey, we got a fight for you coming up in about 3 months," I said, "Oh, I gotta lose all this weight. I gotta lose all this weight." Then you see somebody call you, say, "Oh, I can't, we gotta lose all this weight." But then if you follow a good, healthy year-round diet, eat clean year-round, and then say, "Hey, we got a fight for you." When's the fight? 3 months. What's the what class? Say, okay. I say, well, I just gotta shave off 5 or 10 pounds, and I'm ready. That's what you got to do. Always be prepared, just in case. Like that's how what Valentine. That's why I like Valentine. She's always prepared whenever you feel like she'll fight. She's gonna eat and have her fun like that. She's gonna enjoy food, but at the same time, she knows to be ready. That's why I respect her. I respect her game. She's a smart lady. You know. I know people like X and you hating on her. Like what? X and you can hate till you hate no more. But that's the thing. You have to be smart. You can't just okay. I'm done with fighting. I'm gonna eat 20 cheeseburgers and drink 14 beers. No. After you've done your fight, so you know what? I'm going back on my diet. I might eat a little something just to eat something because just to have a taste of it. But just go back in your diet and stay prepared. Because you never know, you might get called for a last minute fight. Like somebody say, "Oh, well, we lost a fighter. You got to be a month to be ready." Okay, well, a month is enough time to be ready. I didn't get off my diet. Then you can clean. Just get ready. You know. Well, folks, I do talking to you about this stuff. It's just stuff that just been on my head sometimes. Um, what we need to see more? We need to see more better policies for women in mixed martial arts. Better rules, better money, healthcare, everything. Women, they are treated second class citizens. And for my man, the great late Malcolm X says, black women are considered are most respected women in America more than anybody. But women, they are different from us men. We know that. That's what we draw to women because they're different. If you're into guys, that's your choice. Personally, I like a lady. I like something that smells nice, that's soft. Even though I'm a fan of female bodybuilders, those ladies are still nice ladies, especially in the off season when they're nice and soft and they still got a little muscle, but not too muscle. It's still they get their like I saw this picture of Andrea Shaw. I'm gonna pull this up because this is why I love Andrea Shaw. I think she's so beautiful. And this was like maybe it's been a month since the Olympia, and Andrea, she was just somewhere. I think she's the sexiest woman in the world. I mean, she is just straight up, you know, oh God, I just can't help but I'm, it's been like a month since she last competed. You know, it's a video here. I'm gonna pull it up. I posted this on like the other night when we were live streaming, me and my partner. Yeah, you can see now her face is a little bit more fuller. You see she's getting a little bit more breast tissue because with female bodybuilders, if you don't get breast implants and you compete, you sacrifice your memory tissue because it takes muscle, takes fat to fuel muscle. You can see how she's a little bit, she got a little bit more, and she's pretty. Guys, I know guys say, "Nah, she's not that pretty." Yeah, she's not, but she's sexy to me. Look at that smile. Yeah, she's like I said, she's, when these ladies are off season, their faces are fuller. They're getting a little bit more. They're getting a little bit more breast tissue back, especially if they don't get breast implants because, like I said, she don't have breast implants. She never. That's what I like about her. She don't have tattoos. She hasn't been to the wheel of silicone. She has a great body, and that's the big difference with bodybuilders. They do the same thing. They have to be hydrated. They have to be weight. Yeah, this is her after a show. She has a little bit of liquor. She has a nice smile. You can see how much her face is different compared to the filler. You can see how her skin is a lot more tighter. She has that more, it's a lot. Her jaw is a lot more sucking in because she has to lose a lot of weight. You know, but then you compare it to this picture in which, from the video, how her face is a little bit more fuller. You can see, she does have a little bit more breast tissue. Once you're not competing, your body chemistry starts, kicking back in. But like I said, I love Andrea Shaw. I think she's beautiful. She's beautiful. No guy be hating. Nobody hating on her. She's sexy. But that's the thing is, women and men are different. That's just a simple fact of life. And those differences that draws one another to each other. But these organizations need to realize that men and women are biologically different. You cannot give the same plan to a woman you give to a man. You can't do the same weight cut style for the man you do for a woman. Because even if it can nearly kill a man, you gotta think about what it can do to a woman. I think it should be better practices. I think all competitors should, like with Valentina, be year-round ready to compete. Don't just after you just do a fight, just grab yourself a cheeseburger. Okay, you can grab a cheeseburger, but then when you're done, stay on that diet. Stay consistent. That's what I need to do myself. Stay consistent. Don't be discouraged. Don't be saying, you know what, I want this, I want that. I'm saying you want this, want that, but eat those things every once in a while. Just for your body, for have a taste of it. But don't make it too often a routine. Just like out of the blue, like maybe on a birthday or maybe your birthday, or also holidays every now and then, special occasions, you know, but not too often. Be prepared. Always be prepared as a fighter. Just in case you get that call one day and you tell you, hey, you got a month out to get ready, and say, you know what, I'm just about there. I just need to shave off another 6 or 7 pounds. I'm ready. Be prepared. Be prepared. You know, and also with women, like I said, give them allowances. Realize that if you call a female fighter and tell her, hey, you got a month to get ready, it's going to be hard for them. It's going to be hard for them to lose that extra weight because their body chemistry is so much different, especially if they're a woman who has had children. When women have children, it's just their body changes because at that for the first few couple of years of their life, for the first few months to a year of their life, they're nurturing and taking care of a child, and they need that body weight. They need the extra because they're feeding something. They need that because they're taking care of somebody else. They're taking care of another life. That's what women pick up. Women can eat healthy when women you're pregnant. You can eat healthy when you're pregnant. You don't have to overindulge. Some women just do it out of habit. I know you have cravings, but sometimes be smart about your cravings. I know ladies who are athletes who have got pregnant, and they still don't. They want their bodies to be in good shape, especially have their child. I've seen videos and pictures of women who were competitive bikini competitors who had got pregnant, and then after they had a kid, boom, they look at they didn't look like they had a kid because they believed in a diet, they believed in exercising. It's not like back in the day, you're sitting in the house, you're barefoot and pregnant, and stay up. You can go walk, you can go do this, you can go lift some weights. You don't have to go all out because I know you be concerned, I might hurt the baby. No, you're not gonna hurt the baby. The baby's gonna be all right. But people got to realize men and women are biologically different, and that's just common sense. That's not something new. It's something that's been around for a long time. And, the story says, well, women came from men, like that rib from God took that rib from Adam to create Eve, but still, Eve was still different from Adam. That's just it. Eve was still different from Adam. But here's the thing: is I'm gonna say like this: organizations like that. If you are a fight promoter, you should use your common sense when dealing with men and women who are fighters. Give the women a little bit of allowances. I know some guys are gonna complain about it, but you can realize, hey guys, you gotta realize she's different from you. I can't, like I said, what works for you may not work for her. What kind of the old fashioned weight cut thing, sitting in the hot heat, that's not working. That's that you taking a risk. You're taking a risk, And these women taking a risk because they want to fight. They want to prove themselves. They want to. You're not gonna be ever equal. Women never be equal with men. They're never gonna be. That's just simple fact of that. But they want to be recognized and respected just like their male components. They want to be. It's hard. It's hard for women to get that respect, recognition. It's hard. Because society has, put women into this box where it should be. Wives, mothers, girlfriends, homemakers. They don't want to see you be fighters. They don't want to see you be bodybuilders. They don't want to see you do something that's not the typical norm. Back in the day, a woman who didn't want to have kids to get married, she's called a spinster. A man didn't want kids to get married. He's called a bachelor. It's always going to be different standards. You know, no one looks at a woman who doesn't want to have kids. They look at a woman who says, "I don't have like kids." They look at like, like you said, an evil thing. If a man says that, no one blinks an eye. Like I said, it's just double standards things. But like I said, you got to realize what works for a man does not work for a woman, and what works for a woman may not work for a man. And you have to be smarter. I understand you want to compete, but be smarter. Instead, again, if you are a fighter, don't just after you fight, go grab a burger or something like that. No, get yourself a nice little small little salad, some water, or maybe a nice little light juice, or something like that, just because you want something to taste. But all be prepared. All be prepared. Expect the unexpected. Be smart when you eat. Yes, be smart with your diet. But also, again, recognize that women and men are totally different creatures. We're the same species. We're humans. But in some aspects, we're totally different creatures. Like I said, what works for a man may not work for a woman. Get that through your skulls. Dana White Speeder, Scott Cokehead, Shadow Napster, Ray Seafy, all you guys out there who run organizations, get it to your head. Don't treat women the same as men. Men and women are not the same. That's just common sense. So, like I said, I'm done. I'm just talking off my butt, you know, talking about stuff that I think is personally I like to talk about. But as said again, if you are a fighter and you have a passion for a sport, be smart, train smart. Don't lift heavy. I'm a man. WMX say lift heavy. You don't need to lift heavy. You're you'll need that. If you're a fighter, you'll need that muscle. If you're a bodybuilder, yes, you need to lift heavy because you try to build more muscle. If you're a fighter, you don't need to lift heavy. You need just enough lifting so you can be able to lift your opponent. You don't need to go overboard. You don't need to be doing what you saw Momena doing. You need to be powerlifting stuff. No, good, decent, light training with good amount of weights, kettlebells, some good free weights, something like that. Good old fashioned pull ups. Those good body sculpture workouts. You don't need too much heavy stuff. That's for bodybuilders. You don't need to train like a bodybuilder. Train like a fighter. Work on your cardio. Work on your stamina. You don't need a lot of muscle when you're fighting because that what does, like I said again, muscle, it takes a lot of blood and a lot of fuel, a lot of air to oxygen to fuel muscle. You don't need too much mass. You just need enough. And you try to use weightlifting to burn off muscle. You burn off fat. You're gonna build more muscle. It's not a good thing to do. So train smarter. Use good old fashioned jump rope, good old fashioned pull ups, good old fashioned light weights. Kettlebells. Some free weights. You don't need to be on the incline unless you just like to do incline. You don't need to lift heavy. Just lift enough so you can maybe build a little muscle and get yourself in good shape. But don't train like a bodybuilder if you're a fighter. Train like a fighter. It's a big difference. So, folks, I know I got you up here late. And like I said, I'm about to head off to bed, stretch out. I got things I got to do tomorrow. Also, got some things I got to do next week. I got some interviews coming up. I got to get some ones. I got some interviews. I got an interview coming tomorrow. Talking with Paige Songrin. She is an NPC competitor. We posted that interview Tuesday, but she couldn't make it, so we pushed it back Friday. Also, I got some interviews I'm hoping to get settled. We got to work out the time. So, like I said, some of these ladies live in different time zones. Some of these ladies work. I'd love to get some interviews with ladies at MMA again. It's been a while. I hadn't interviewed somebody in MMA since mixed. Well, I'm not supposed to say MMA per se. I've interviewed Jessica Borgia, who's used to be in Bellator, but she just did her last year. She debuted in Bare Knuckle. Brooke Gilly supposed to be her opponent, and Jamie Driver, who fights in Bare Knuckle too, but in a different organization. But it's been a while. I'm trying to reach out to some more MMA fighters. I was hoping to reach out one lady, but her management, it's a pain in the ass. And his thing is, Ladies out there who are MMA fighters, realize you're not going to get the big interviews with Aaron Hawani, Luke Thomas, or these other guys. If you're not big enough, they're not going to pay no attention to you. But small, content makers like a man Coach, a man Comic 99, BJ over there. Also, my sister Tay Tay Brown. Tay Tay, you need to do some interviews too. I think that will help expand your channel if you do some interviews. I want to, you need to do some interviews, Tay Tay. We get the time. I know you're busy, you got a nurse job, but hey, when you don't have a weekend off, reach out to these ladies and fighting. We interview. I would love to fight some more. I would love to fight some women in MMA. Hopefully, some fights, some interviews coming down the pipe. Things going good. Some stuff I'm working on. Some stuff I'm working on. I really try to expand my channel. Really do some changes. But you're gonna see some stuff new coming up, and you'll be proud of me. I do appreciate my man Execution 3 coming through, my brother Marcus Bell coming through. Anybody who's watching this video, like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. Support women in MMA, support women in boxing, support women in bodybuilding, support these women in these sports, because this is things, these ladies, they want to be respected and recognized just as much as their male counterparts. They deserve it. That's what my channel is dedicated, because like I said, I love ladies. I grew up, like I said, raised by my 3 older sisters and my mom. And that's why I have a love and respect for women, because those women taught me how to love and respect them. And maybe someday I get a woman that love and respect me, but it's hard. I live in a very small town, and I don't go to many places. But like I said, thank y'all for listening to this. And like I said again, recognize that men and women are different. What works for a man does not work for a woman. Understand that. Don't try to push, like I said, don't try to push something that works for this guy over here. That's not going to work for this lady over there. Change the narrative. Change the plan. Change the, what is considered the norm. Let's have a new normal. All right? Okay? So anyway, this is your man always shorts page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't subscribe. I'm out.